Alright, so I've been thinking about healthcare recently. Well, President Obama's goal of enacting some kind of healthcare reform legislation by the end of the year is admirable. Now, I'm still not entirely convinced that it'll happen, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Now, personally, the healthcare question doesn't necessarily affect me. I'm a veteran. I served in the Navy from 1993 until 1998 and spent the last 10 plus years in the care of the Veterans Administration. And I can tell you, being a patient in the Veterans Administration, if that's any indicator, if the United States government were to take over healthcare and run it that way, it would suck. Now, it's wise for any business to be budget conscious, but the problem with the VA is that they are budget paranoid. What it comes down to is this: if healthcare were to be run by the government, who's going to make the budget decisions? The hospitals or Congress? Hello, Congress holds the purse strings, and there's always going to be some budget-conscious legislator who's going to come in thinking he knows more than the doctors and saying, do we really need to spend so much money on MRIs or CT scans or this and that and what have you? And you know what? We do not need that kind of bureaucratic headache permeating our healthcare system. It just is a really bad idea. Now, healthcare as an industry has produced a quality of care that is second to none in the United States, if you can afford it. I think quality healthcare should be available to everyone. And while it probably wouldn't be practical to make it free, something has to be done to make it more affordable, and existing charity programs just aren't enough for the uninsured. Speaking of charity programs, I was watching a local PBS affiliate, and they were talking about the whole healthcare debate, and they brought in some flunky from one of the regional healthcare providers to, give the industry side. And this guy came out and said that we don't need healthcare reform. It's totally unnecessary because people who don't have insurance have charity programs that they can rely on. And I couldn't help but think, wow, this is a guy who's an executive for a healthcare company telling people that charity is good enough for everybody else. If this guy is so sure that charity healthcare is good enough for everybody, then he would be willing, I think, to give up whatever cushy healthcare plan he has and rely on charity to provide healthcare for him and his family for 1 year. If it's that good, I think he should be willing to do that, to demonstrate to everyone just how good it is. And I'm willing to bet that after 1 year, he just might change his tune. Now, a big part of the healthcare debate stems from trying to figure out if healthcare is a commodity or a right. The fact that there's a healthcare industry obviously demonstrates that it certainly is a commodity. So the real question, in my view, is, can't it be both? The Constitution of the United States makes it very clear in the Fifth Amendment that no one can be denied life, liberty, or property without due process. Now, we usually think of this in terms of criminal law. Rob a bank, you're found guilty, you go to jail. You're denied your liberty. Losing property by due process is also common, but more complicated. If a person commits a heinous murder and is found guilty through due process, he can be denied his life. Now, I've been thinking of a scenario where the rights of the Fifth Amendment might come into play regarding health care. Suppose a person is in need of a life-saving medical procedure, but for some unfathomable reason, treatment is denied by this person's insurance company. They can't afford to pay for the treatment themselves, and as a result, they die. Could it be said that the insurance company would be guilty of denying this person their life by withholding a life-saving treatment without due process? It makes a certain kind of sense, but there might be other constitutional and legal factors I'm not considering. I'll leave it to the lawyers to figure out.